you can make it. You just gotta grind. It ain't gonna be overnight. It might happen a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. It don't matter as long as you get there. So, yeah, just keep going.
My name is Detavio Samuels, and welcome to the Blackprint, where I sit with the innovators, disruptors, and changemakers. My guests open up about every step of their journey and share lessons learned along the way to provide creators, entrepreneurs, and executives with a tangible blueprint for navigating to the top of their industry. This is the Blackprint. Welcome to the Blackprint. Here, we talk to the ceiling breakers, the innovators, the disruptors, those who, against all odds, have found a way to chart their path to greatness. I say at the beginning of every show, everybody see you on the mountaintop? Nobody see you on the climb. This is the show where we talk about the climb. Today, I'm happy to have my brother King, DDG. What's good, family?
What's up?
What's good, man? How you feeling?
Good.
Good, man.
Yeah.
We always start the beginning with, we're big on owning our own narrative. And so instead of me introducing you, I want you to introduce yourself to the world. However you define yourself, however you see yourself, however you identify yourself, who is DDG?
What's good? My name is DDG. I am a father first and foremost. Entrepreneur, entertainer, artist, family man. Feel like I'm everything, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I do it all. I don't really put a cap on what I do.
Yeah, nor should you. Limitless. Black people deserve to be limitless. All right, so that's who you are today. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Where are you from? And kind of talk to me about your upbringing.
I'm from Pontiac, Michigan. You know how most Black people grow up. You know, it's like you coming from the struggle, you know, welfare and stuff like that, and like, you know, not really having a lot. But, you know, when you look back on it, it's also some good times that come from it. It's not all like depressing and stuff. But my upbringing was definitely rough in terms of like my ability to see the future. Like as a kid, I didn't really envision me being this far in life. Just off my surroundings. You know?
What did you think the future held for DDG? If you couldn't see this, what was it that you saw?
You know, maybe just working a regular job, you know, just maybe a manager at Best Buy or something.
Okay.
You know, you never know.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really, I mean, I always had big dreams. That's why I'm here. But I didn't envision to make it this far when I was living in the conditions I was, you know. Like evictions, going through stuff like that, losing family members, and just like, you know, growing up in the struggle like most Black people do.
Yeah. What's interesting, there's lots of interesting things about your story, but one of the things that I find interesting is though you grew up in the struggle, you also graduated as valedictorian from your school. So was education still important to you when you were young? Had to be for you to achieve that type of recognition in high school.
Yeah, definitely. The thing about school for me, like I'm very, very smart, but even more than smart, I'm competitive. So that's where I excelled in school. And, you know, I always wanted to be number one. I always wanted to be the best like I am now. I just want to be the best. I just like to win. It's like an addiction of mine, winning. So, you know, becoming valedictorian, it was like me and this other kid, but he was like, I can honestly say he was smarter than me. Like he going to internationals, science fairs and winning, you know, super smart, scoring 36 on his 32 on his ACTs and all crazy stuff like. And, you know, everybody doubted me, like, you're not gonna be valedictorian. And it just made me want to go harder. I'm staying after school. I'm like doing a bunch of extracurricular stuff, you know, being more friendly with the teachers and, you know, like trying to become valedictorian. And I feel like that competitive mindset that I got from school, it traveled over to real life and what I'm doing now.
I want to get into the real life piece. I want to jump into the next one, but you're from Pontiac. I spent a lot of time in Detroit. So can you kind of describe for the audience, like, what is it like growing up in Pontiac, Michigan?
It's rough. Pontiac, I describe Pontiac as like a mini Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, if you can pick a few hoods out of Detroit, boom, that's Pontiac. Like Pontiac is very small. We don't have a mall. At some point in time, it wasn't no police station. Like it was no police in Pontiac. It was wild. I mean, it still's like stuff going on, but back then it was a lot worse. You know how small cities be. That's a little rugged. And it's not much to do, but just, grow up, have a baby, go to work, leave, whatever.
What got you out of Pontiac? When did you leave?
I left when I went to college.
Okay, where'd you go to school?
Central Michigan University.
Yep. So you start off kind of, Pontiac sounds like you said it's the struggle so many of us Black people know. But somehow, some way you still manage to, it's the competitive nature in you, right? You trying to win and compete for the top spot. So that leads you to college. When you went to college, what did you think you were going to do? Is it still Best Buy manager or is there a new dream at this point?
Nah. So I'm going to just rewind you a little bit. Like when I was growing up in Pontiac or whatever, or when I got around like high school before college, I was working at TJ Maxx. And I was like a cashier. I put the sensors on clothes and stuff. And I was probably making like $200 a week, which is good for a high schooler. So back then at least. So I was making decent money. And then by that time I was doing YouTube at the time, and I got like a check for like $200 for the month. YouTube paid once a month. So I got $200 and I just quit my job completely. So I was like, I'm gonna just focus on doing YouTube, because if I can make 200, I can make 2,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just depends on how hard I work. So from there, I kept doing YouTube throughout high school, and then when I went to college, I knew I wanted to just do YouTube, because I'm like, I want to get money. I'm out here. I got the freshest clothes on campus. You know what I mean? Like I want to focus on getting money, but I want to go to college. So let me get a major that like aligns with what I want to do. So I went to college for broadcasting, and I had a minor in acting. But I ain't gonna lie, like I had no plans of graduating.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you knew you weren't going to do 4 years. So what did you want to get out of the short stint that you were there?
I just wanted to experience it. Like I'm a first generation college student, so nobody in my family been to college except for me. So it was just something that I felt like I really wanted to do. And, I graduated valedictorian. What I look like not going to college, and I had a decent scholarship that paid for a portion of it. Also, just to piggyback a little bit, I took the ACT. I don't know if you know what that is. Yeah. So I took the ACT, and I had an offer from Oakland University to get a full ride to that school. Oakland University Oakland University is like 10 minutes from Pontiac. Central is like 2 hours, but I wanted to go to Oakland because it was fully paid for. And I ended up taking the ACT once. I got a 20. I had to get a 21 to get the full ride. I got a 20. So I'm sad. I'm like, damn, like I done missed my moment. So I retake it. I get another 20. I'm like, damn, how am I gonna keep getting 20s? And then I took it again for a third time. You got to pay to retake it. And I got a 19. And I was like, that's just God just telling me you don't need to go to this school. So that's how I got to Central. And I feel like it was a blessing in disguise, because I was able to really find myself and, learn how to be a vocal person, knocking on dorms and trying to meet new people. I'm very introverted, so I'm not used to doing that. But, I went to college by myself. So it was like I had to meet people, and I feel like that opened the doors for me to create content and find my whole passion in doing the YouTube stuff.
Last question before we jump into the YouTube piece, which is, all right, you knew you were going to college. You weren't going to do it for 4 years. You left after what, 1 year, 2 years?
Yeah, 1 year.
Okay. What was it that at the 1 year mark, you were like, it's time to go? I got what I needed. And you said, I've grown a little bit. I've built like, what made you say, all right, after my freshman year?
I mean, I didn't know. I went into summertime. So during the summer, I kind of blew up on YouTube.
What happened? What caused that?
I was in this relationship with this girl, and I used to do like pranks on her and stuff like that, like little vlogs and shit. And, you know, it was going super viral. So kept doing it, and it was going up. And then by the end of freshman year, I probably had like maybe like 100,000 subscribers or something, which is great. And then when after the summer was over, I had 300,000. So then, you know, I'm just working. When I got back, I did the first semester, and then I started making crazy money. And then I was like, let me just go ahead and leave.
So the money. So let's do the math. When you were in high school, you were making $200 a month. At the point in time when you decided to like check out of college and do something and focus on it full time, how much were you making a month? Or however you
I was making like 40,000, 20,000, you know, 18,000. It fluctuates, but I was making really good money, and I'm like, shit, it really don't make no sense for me to be in college, and you know.
Yep. What did it feel like to be the first time you saw that check for 30,000, 40,000, 20,000, whatever it is, coming for you or come from? What did it feel like to see that first check, that first big check?
It was unreal. It was amazing. It was a dope feeling. And you know what I did with my money, I came to yeah. What I did with it, I came out here to LA.
Why LA?
I always wanted to live here. Well, I actually didn't move. I just came out here for my birthday, and I just fell in love with the city, the weather. You know, Michigan is cold and
gray,
snowing,
gloomy,
super gloomy. So I came out here. It was sunny. It was nice. It's 9 p.m., 75 degrees. I'm like, man, this is heaven. So I came out here, visited, went back, worked some more, and I got enough money to move out here. But, you know, a lot of people look at like the YouTube stuff as like, it's like easy, but I done spent times where I didn't go to sleep.
Like, let's talk about the work. Yeah. How much work did it take to get you here? Do you think you were working 10-hour weeks, 30-hour weeks, 40-hour weeks, whatever it took?
Tell you, I'm working 10-hour days, like 12-hour days, you know, and it's like, it's extremely motivating when you see like, you can visually see the money, and you see your work turn it into monetary value. So, I don't know. I just kept going, and it's like, the process is from you shooting it. It's like you come up with the idea, you shoot the idea, you edit, and you upload. And I'm doing that 2 times a day, 3 times a day.
Oh, you're posting that frequently.
Yeah. I was posting a whole lot because, you know, I'm trying to get the bag. So, I was definitely grinding super hard.
How did you, for people who are watching, right? For people who want to be a YouTube star, what lessons can you give them? So some of it is you did real work, right? You putting in 10-hour days, you posting multiple times a day. Yeah. What other ideas, thoughts, cheat codes do you have for those folks who are trying to follow in your footsteps and be the next YouTube sensation?
It's really just, I tell people all the time, you just got to be consistent. That's with anything you do. Like, even with my music, like I make sure I put out a song very, very frequently, because I feel like it's millions of people, it's billions of people in this world. And it's at least millions and millions and millions that want to do YouTube. So it's a lot of competition. So I feel like what I tell people that want to get into content creation, when you don't post, somebody else do. It's like not giving your girl attention. She gonna look for it somewhere else, you know, and then they might love that other creator even more than you, and then you just lost a fan, you know, that you could have really locked on to. So I just tell people, be consistent and stay in people's face.
Were you that competitive nature? Did you have anybody you were competing against, or was it you versus you as you were building?
It was definitely me versus me. You know, it was just me trying to just elevate myself. There's enough money for everybody. When you compare yourself to other people, you find yourself not being true to what you like to do.
How did you figure out what you love to do? How did you figure out your taste profile? How did you figure out that pranks, for example, would be like your zone? How did you learn the type of content you wanted to create and put out into the world?
I'm an analytical type of person, so I see what the numbers do. Like, if the number's big, obviously they like it. You know, you want to appeal to the masses, and that's with anything that I do. So, you know, I just like making people laugh. I like inspiring people, making people day. And, you know, I'm just an entertainer at heart.
And the whole time you're doing YouTube, so you talked about the content creation you were doing by yourself. At this point in time, do you have a manager? Do you have an agent? Do you have anybody else around you? Or are you just doing it all on your own?
No, I was
Scoop
doing
the
it
nuts.
all by myself. Eventually I started getting like editors and all of that, but nobody can do it like you can do it. You know exactly what you want. So, I like the work. I like doing the tedious things like editing and uploading and doing everything. Like it makes me feel like I'm doing something,
You're like one of those people with hands-on keys.
Yeah.
You like to have your hands on the product.
Yeah.
So you're doing YouTube, and at some point in time, your music starts to take off. Walk me through. YouTube is starting to pop. I'm making good money there, and now I'm like, now I got to get this music thing going.
So the music thing popped off. I always been around music. Like my dad used to be like an engineer, like a local engineer in Pontiac, and we used to have like local artists come through. We had a home studio. Like me and my brothers made music, and I'm like a kid. So I always been around music. I always knew I wanted to do it, but I just never really dived deep into it because, I was more focused on making money. Obviously coming from the struggle or whatever. And, music is a slow grind in terms of like making a lot of money.
Thanks.
But when I was able to get into the music, I did it it kind of just happened. I was on YouTube and, YouTube got errors. Like right now, streamers is popping. People like they watch live streamers and, they get the clips and people just like to watch you at your computer and just sit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
During that time when I got into the music, it was a diss track era. And everybody was like dissing each other, but it's not like, it's like funny stuff, And I was just doing it. I was dissing people or whatever, and I was getting like tens of millions of views. Like I was getting so many views. And then YouTube had like a setback on the ads. I think like an advertiser accidentally paid, or somebody put ads of like something that was anti-Semitic, something like crazy, right? And the brand seen that and pulled out. So you get paid from YouTube from ads.
Yep.
So when they pulled out, I was making 40,000. I went down from 40 to 8. By this time, I'm already in LA.
Lifestyle different.
Yeah, my rent is 5 bands. Like I'm paying like crazy money just to live. So I'm like, damn, like, I'm big on adapting early. So I was like, let me go ahead and get into this music because, they love my diss tracks. Maybe they just, it's hard to transition from YouTube to music. Yeah. So I was like, let me just go about it in a way that, it makes sense. So then I like purchased a feature from Famous Dex for $8,000. So I got a feature off of him because at that time he was like super hot. So I just pulled up on him in my little i8 or whatever, hopped out the car, gave him the money, did the feature right then and there and dropped it, and it just went crazy. I'm like, okay, I got my foot in the door. So from there, I dropped again, and then I ended up getting picked up by World Star. This is back when World Star was like
everything.
Yeah. So I got on World Star, and then from there, I just start going up. And then I was in a relationship at the time, and I made like an R&B song that was like a breakup song or whatever. And that went viral, and it ended up going gold. So from there, I ended up signing with Epic Records. And I got a banging deal owning my masters, like a 50-50 partner share. Like, it's like,
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Like, that's how it happened. And then from there, I'm just working. Like, music is my true passion.
How does it feel to be in a place where you get to focus on your true passion every day?
It's amazing. It's dope. I feel like I'm just thinking on how I can become bigger, how I can make a better song. I feel like my life is like a video game at this point. It's just like how I want to beat the game,
This is going to be a crazy question, but when you look at your life, when you talk about life as like a video game, do you look at it through first person view, or do you look at yourself almost like third person? Are you kind of pulled out watching yourself, watching the moves you make, or are you in it first person as you're playing the game?
I'm in it.
You're in it.
I think third person is better though.
Say more. Like why? Why is third person?
I feel like third person would be better because you can kind of like, you can be more creative, you know, and I feel like first person, I don't really, I'm just thinking straight ahead, and I kind of try to take myself out of that and think like, let me be optimistic. Let me try this and try that, but, yeah, definitely. I'm just straight ahead, first person, just trying to get to the next level.
I'm trying to figure out how you got all these bangers. Like, how is it that like song after song is going viral? There's to your point about there's millions of people who want to be YouTubers. There's millions of people who want to be rappers, right? And you say it so like it's nothing like, yeah, I dropped the song, it went viral. Did another R&B joint, went viral. Like,
Yeah.
Was there a secret sauce to it? Was it magic? Was it you had the hot hand? Like,
I would say it was a little bit of everything. I take a lot of pride in my music, and I believe that I'm a great artist, and I believe I make great music, and I enjoy listening to my own music. And that's all that matters to me. So if he like it, then somebody else like it, or if I like it, then I know somebody else gonna like it. So, I don't know, man. I put a lot of passion, I put a lot of effort into it, and, it worked out.
mm-hmm.
It resonated with a lot of people.
Would that be your recommendation? I saw Rick Rubin the other day. It might be an old quote, I don't know, but he was talking about how he only makes music for himself. He only makes music that he likes in the same way that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And that he believes that that there's enough people out there like him that like he's good. He doesn't have to make music for the world. He makes music for himself.
Yeah.
Anybody who's coming up trying to get in this game, there's a lot of people who are going to be watching to see, like, what did you do to make it? What did you, right? They'll try to make music for the world. They'll try to figure out the algorithm. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend that it's best to always make music for yourself, or to stand back, look at the world and try to figure out the lane that you can fill? Or it's kind of a mix of both, where like, you just like, look, for me, making music for myself work, but other people may have a different road path.
I think like I'm a person that did both. Mm. Like some songs I make because, I feel like, hey, people on TikTok gonna like it and they gonna want to dance to it and this and that. But when those songs don't take off, I get disappointed because I didn't really, that wasn't something that I would personally listen to.
Yeah.
But when I put out a song that I love myself, that I would listen to myself, and I put it out and it don't do nothing or whatever, it don't go viral, I'm okay. Because it's like, I love this song. I don't really care. Like, just because you like who your favorite artist?
Man, I've been on my gospel and Afro beats for a couple of years. I'm trying to think of who would I say from the rap game right now. I always loved the Young Thug. Always gonna love like a Jay-Z, DMX, a Pac, any of those.
Yeah. So if you like Jay-Z, that don't mean he like Jay-Z, but like, Jay-Z don't care.
Yeah.
It's enough people that like Jay-Z for him to feed his family, for him to make his money and do whatever he got to do. So, I'm pretty sure he don't go in the studio and make a song so somebody can dance to TikTok. He just rapping about his life.
Right.
So I feel like when you make songs for yourself and people ended up liking it, or even if it's a slow grind, it's a better career path because you'll never get bored with doing that.
When you think about your music, is there a certain legacy you're trying to leave? Is there a certain thing that you want to put into the world, a certain message, a certain style? Like,
definitely, I want to make it to the top. Like, I don't want to just do it just to do it, like if it was just about money for me, I wouldn't do music, to be honest. Like, music it's profitable, but it's 0.01% for you to be making that type of money. Sure. Like, it's not a lot. You could probably count on one hand how many rappers is really making millions a show.
Yeah.
It ain't a lot of them. So, if it's really about the passion, and I plan on being in that 0.01%. And I don't care how long it take. It's just, I love making music. It's passion for mine. I have fun doing it, but I want to be one of the biggest to do it.
How will you know that you made it to that mountaintop? At what point in time do you look in the mirror and tell yourself, like, you one of the biggest to ever do it?
I'm not sure, because if I ask my younger self the same thing, I can say I'm already there, but, I don't know, I got visions of selling out arenas and, going number one and, you know, doing all the stuff that every artist wants. And I feel like once I get to a point in time where that becomes easy, then I feel like I reached that.
So it's not even the first one. It's got to be repeatable for you.
Yeah. Definitely. There's plenty of number ones that happen and then those people disappear. I don't want to be one of those.
You want to stay empowered, prove that you could do it over and over and over again. All right. So music, you've entered into a new season of life, right? You're now a father. Talk to me about that, man. How's that feel?
It's dope, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's crazy. And it's like, it's unreal. You know, it's a great feeling, like coming home, whether I'm just at work or maybe I went out for the night or whatever. And, you know, this is wicked LA. You go home and you just got somebody that just love you and innocent and just want to sleep and lay up and, you know, just trust you with their entire life. And it's a great feeling.
I'm going to go down a couple of paths. One, I want to know, how has your work shifted? Do you work harder? Do you work less? How has it changed your thinking as a career now that you're a father, if at all?
Definitely work harder. I'm more optimistic in how I can create a business that's going to benefit my son. Like I'm working on stuff that's, you know, that involve him. So when he grows up, he ain't got to want for nothing. You know, he got his own money already. So, thinking about his future and not just mine. So, you know, with thinking about two futures, that automatically causes you to have to work harder. So, I've just been trying to go harder and just do as much as I can.
There's definitely a thing that I believe in terms of generational curses. And then in order to counter those, we need more of us working towards generational blessings, right? See, like he just here, but I'm already, I'm already trying to figure out how to make sure that for generations, right, everything is okay. How does it change your thinking as a man?
A lot, man. I feel like before him, I felt like, you know, I was probably 21 before him. You know, I'm actually 26, but, you know, I probably felt like I was 21. Now I feel like I'm 29 or something. You know, I'm 35. You know, I feel like a man. I feel like a grown man. I feel like I'm taking care of somebody. You know, I got a bigger purpose. You know, I feel like as long as he's happy, I'm happy.
When you think about today where you sit, what is DDG's North Star? Like, what is your number one driving force today, every day you wake up? What is your North Star?
It's really happiness. That's big. If I'm being selfish and thinking about myself, like happiness for sure. You know, if I'm not happy, I don't want to do it anymore.
Does money buy you happiness?
Not at all.
So what does happy mean to you? Now that you got money, now that you got to LA, now that you've been a YouTuber, now that you've been like, now what is happiness to you?
Like being around family, you know, being able to create dopamine, travel the world, and, you know, like do the stuff that makes everything fun. You know, money buys happiness in terms of, like, you know, if you want to travel the world and doing all that, but making money doesn't make you like a happier person. You can have a bad day and still be rich. You know?
Question.
So, I think for me, it's just being comfortable, really.
Let's go on the entrepreneur path. So you talked a little bit about being an entrepreneur. Any big entrepreneurial things, projects that you're working on in this moment in time?
Yeah, I'm working on a clothing brand. I don't want to say too much because I ain't really too deep into it yet, but it's going to be definitely different than what people expect. And it's inspired by my son. So I think it's going to be a really dope project. And, you know, fashion is something else that I'm really, really passionate about. So I'm just trying to get into that world as much as possible.
And we won't get into the actual business or too much about the business, but when DDG is thinking about building a brand or a business today, I just want to get into like the philosophy. I'm just trying to think about, are there any kind of, like, how are you processing it? Are you going to do direct to consumer? Are you looking at stores? You trying to get through stores? How are you thinking about distributing this clothing brand?
Direct to consumer, eventually stores when it, you know, is a big thing, you know, but definitely like with my internet reach, I feel like direct to consumer makes
using the
the most
power.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And then one more question on that. Is it men? Is it women? Is it kids? Is it everything? When you think about the clothing brand, that's the piece you want to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say you're working on this YouTube business.
Yep.
Help me understand how you're thinking through the economics for the year. Are you sitting back going, all right, I got to make $300,000 a year, and this is the path that it takes to get there? Are you thinking about it on a daily basis? Like, look, man, I just got to keep going and going, and I'll see how much money I make to the end of the year. How are you thinking about your YouTube business and the economics that were attached to it?
Definitely a daily thing. I try to hit a certain number every day. So, that way I can be more comfortable in what I'm spending. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I spend a lot of money and it's not even on purpose. Like, especially living out here, like, you know, you done drove, I live kind of far. So I drive over here, I drive back, and I might go run a few errands. By that time, I got to put another $100 in the tank. You know, it's like, I feel like my daily expenses is very high at this point. So I try to at least quadruple what I'm spending, you know, times 10 what I'm spending, so I can feel comfortable spending it.
When you times 10 with that money that's left, are you saving? Are you investing? How are you thinking about the money that's not getting spent on a daily?
Both saving and investing, and you know, also looking into new business ventures and trying to spend it that way, taking care of my family, of course. Yes, you know, it's about saving for me. Like, I like to see a certain number in my bank.
I was just going to ask you. I think every man got a number. I'm not going to ask you for your number, but every man got a number that's like, I got to see this number in my bank account to feel comfortable. Yeah. Today, you got that number, or are you still hustling? And every number is different for everybody.
I'm still hustling.
You still hustling?
You know, I'm trying to make a lot of money, you know, so I'm definitely still hustling. Like, I tell myself I ain't got nothing yet. So, you know, I just keep myself motivated and humble.
And you clearly have a wonderful, beautiful family out here in LA. Any of your family from Pontiac out here with you?
So I moved my mom out here. She got her own place. My brother's out here, and his son. My little sister's out here. So like my immediate family is living here. So, you know, it's dope to have family to go to and hang out with, and, you know, they love you unconditionally. So it's a good feeling.
Are they part of the DDG business? Do they work? Do they do any work with the business that you have?
No, like, see, what I take a lot of pride in is, I kind of, like a lot of people say, I don't like to say it, but, you know, I put my family in position to make money for themselves in the YouTube space. So like, I built up channels. Like, I know how to build up channels pretty quickly. I built up channels. I gave a 300,000 subscriber channel to my mom so she can make YouTube money. My brother, we collab all the time. Like, throw him ideas, he throw me ideas, and he making lots and lots of money. My nephew is very, very popular. I mean, he only 8, but, you know, he makes his own money. My little sister, you know, I just put my family in position to make money because, you know, I feel like the last thing you want to do is have your own people depend on you, and then that puts stress on yourself. So I put them in position to make their own money, so I ain't gotta, you know, do nothing.
That is a massive win, in my opinion. I think so often we see our people get to mountaintops and then all of a sudden have to push so much money back home, right? They always use that analogy. You got to put your face mask on before you put anybody else's on. And I think you see so many Black people not make it as high as they can because they're so busy trying to take care of people before they're taken care of. I think it is brilliant that you were able to put your family in position for them to make their own kind of money. I think that's a phenomenal strategy. Any cheat codes? You said, look, man, I know how to build YouTube subscribers up really quickly. Any cheat codes to that?
The cheat code, I kind of told you, is really consistency, but it's also like looking at what's popping on the platform. You know, and this is with any platform, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, anything. Like, look at what people are gravitating towards, look at the numbers, and basically copy it and make it your own. You know, it's like, even with music, it's plenty of artists that like most of the songs that's popping right now, it's got samples in it. We might not even know, but we just know like, oh, this song hit. I'm gonna take a sample from it because it struck something in the human brain that made it go viral. So if I take a sample of it, maybe I can have the same effect. And you got to do that with YouTube too. Like, okay, I'm gonna sample this YouTube video and make it my own and add my own sauce to it and see where it go.
So a lot of that is like, for me, it's like remixing, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out whatever's popping and then putting your own kind of remix and spin on it. All right, last question before we get out of here. Anything you just want to leave the people with? Anything you feel like we didn't cover? Any wisdom you think that the audience needs to have? Anything you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
I just want to say, you know, for all the young people that might be watching this, or, you know, like, you know, you might be in a position where you feel like you're back against the wall or you can't make it, and you can. You know, I feel like it's very important for somebody like me who comes from nothing to tell them that you can make it. You just got to grind. It ain't going to be overnight. It might happen a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years. It don't matter as long as you get there. So, yeah, just keep going.
I love it. I love your story, man. You've done such a great job of like living in your passions, right? Whether it was being a content creator, whether it's music, now on the entrepreneurship side, we clearly see you in fashion. Now you're getting ready to come out with something in the fashion space. Makes a ton of sense, but it's just been beautiful to see you live in your passions, making money, living your passions, and then just seeing the evolution. DDG, what you call like the man now, the father. That's beautiful. So keep going, King. Keep setting the tone for, you know, I think so many people again who are going to watch you as a father, watch you to see kind of how you move. And I just think it's beautiful, man. So blessings and congratulations. Thank you for coming to the Blackprint. Appreciate you spending the time, King.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Man, what an incredible conversation with DDG, family man, father, YouTube sensation, rapper, valedictorian. I felt like we got to learn a lot about his life's journey. Some of the things that popped to me, one, like he's been really good at cracking the code, right? So in life, there's always like a formula to a thing. And it seems like he said, I'm an analytical person. And he's been really good at using his analytical skills to crack the code for whatever problem he was trying to solve. He cracked the code on being a valedictorian, even though he wasn't the smartest person at the school. He cracked the code on how to pop via YouTube in ways that millions of people have not figured out. He's cracked the code on how to have viral hits as a rapper. And so there's this notion that in life, for the spaces where we want to play and dominate, we should try to figure out the formula, crack the code, and then execute. The other thing I love about what DDG talked about is just the power of hard work and consistency. When he talked about YouTube, he talks about how he's working 10, 12-hour days. He's also talking about the power of consistency. I'm showing up every day. I'm dropping every day, not once, not twice, maybe 3 times a day. But throughout his story, he just consistently proves that hard work and consistency can get you to greatness. One of my favorite parts on the conversation, without question, is how DDG talked about how he leveraged his platform to put his family in position to be earners for themselves. I think so often as we climb to the top and we want to reach back and bring other people with us. And I think there's so many stories of people doing that in the industry where they become enablers. And in essence, passing money and passing wealth down without being able to see the benefit. But DDG has a different approach. He said, I knew how to use my knowledge, my gift, and my skills to set my family up. Let me get this YouTube channel up with subscribers and then pass it to them so that they can make money for themselves. I think the fact that he became someone who empowered his family to make money as opposed to being an enabler of them eating off of him is a brilliant idea that so many of us can follow in.